Hi, Sam. Great to see you all coming in. And again, this is supposed to be interactive. So if you want something in particular, something specific you've got a question about, either put it in the Q&A box is probably going to work for us, the questions box, and we'll get to them in order. So there we go. This is about any questions. Doesn't matter. It's about, the software, candle charts, moving averages, the programs, everything we've got, everything that's going on here. As we must do, we need to show you our risk disclosure found at candlecharts.com/disclosure. Again, this talks about the risks of taking trading any type of security. So please make sure you understand the risks prior to placing any trades. And no matter what anybody's recommendation is, make sure it's suitable for you. That's very important. All righty, so I was asked actually if I could bring up a couple of charts. So I said, okay, I'll work on Bitcoin because you know what, a lot of people love Bitcoin. But so far, it really does act very, very well. Let's start. So Bitcoin, we're just looking at a daily chart here at the moment, and well, let's add a couple lines in here. There's one. Good potential resistance. Well, why? It's the recent high. There's a decent support area. In fact, I had called this one long ago before we even got down here. So yeah, good potential support. Now, it may hold again if we come back to it, it may not. But looking at how we had sort of come up here and then saddled back down here, I always thought that was a decent place to look. And sure enough, lower shadows, bullish engulfing, and we took off from there. And boom, we're right back up into the resistance. We don't know if we're going to break through the resistance. That's the big question. But right now, we are a little overextended, still heading in the up direction, but a lot of nice green. So yeah, we can't complain at that right now. Ken, yeah, we'll get to that one in a second. Let's just take a look here. SPY. So I brought up SPY and I did it on a 4-hourly chart. Again, you've got to experiment with a few different charts just to appreciate what we think the market is really doing. The SPY has been sort of dancing around sideways quite a bit. So let's add in, yeah, interesting little area there, potential resistance and a potential support there. I mean, yeah, we can look to the very bottom, but I also look for areas of 2 to 3 touch points. Really going to look at that and say potentially 3. So right now we're in a bit of a box range. We had a dip out of the bottom, but we had support here. Yeah, support here, resistance here, and we're right at it again today, so far. Question, if we can break through that, yeah, then probably looking up towards the all-time high. That's how I'm reading the candles. That's how I'm interpreting the candles. And yeah, I could have put just the resistance line up here, but I like to look a little bit, well, if I can see a change of polarity area, I like it a lot more. Now, I will be looking for us to break out of here, but right now, holding as a potential resistance. So isn't that great? Moving averages are turned up. Yes, and that's why, again, we've got to use other Western technicals to try and help us decide, well, is the market bullish? Is it bearish? Is it sideways? What's going on here? And in fact, this goes back to August 18th. And really, yeah, we haven't done a heck of a lot. We're sort of right back into the mid-range here. Let me just take a look there. Oops, there we go. Okay, so what we want, we had a question here. So let me... There we go, we'll bring this up here. Oh, Wendy, sorry, Wendy. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll have a look on the real chart here in a minute here. So we had a question on HUT. Let's take a look on HUT for a minute. What are you thinking, Ken, or what is it you wondered about HUT? Yeah, there you go. And don't dismiss the weekly and the higher time frames. They can be quite powerful. Again, we look at that, we start to see a lot of interesting things up here. Again, supported area. Draw a little line across there at the lower shadows. Maybe at the bodies, we had only a little crack and snap. That was it. But again, there's your 200. So I got the 20, 50, and 200 on here. I'd maybe put a little line there and say, well, we're at a potential resistance. I would have initially as well had one in here. Well, we blasted through it. We pulled back into the 20, and then we zipped back up again. Multiple times that you could have bought in or traded this market itself, and that's just simply on the weekly side of things. Let's just take a look here. If we go into the dailies, so there you go. So we had said we're sort of in a resistance area right now. There you go. Support and resistance got to be important. In fact, we had a session, a small group coaching session, and Steve joined in, and he did an excellent discussion on, well, it's the Western support and resistance. That's why we created the small group coaching, because there's multiple strategies, all the application of how to trade. So there we go. How is that? I mean, look at that. Look at the nice, decent support area. We're up in a resistance area. Doesn't mean we're going to stop there, but we don't know yet. And that's the thing. You know, candles don't tell you how high it's going to go. Your expiration is 11. Oh, right. Okay, you got plenty of time. Yep. All right. Okay. Hopefully you're in the money and making some good money now. Again, when you're in the money, again, just be careful and well, enjoy your profits. Don't let them drift away too quickly. So if you start to see potentially reversing patterns, be prepared to jump out. Right, SPLK. Oh, Ken, what'd you say here? What day and what time is the small group coaching? That's on Saturdays, Ken. I can get you the link there shortly, or maybe Paul can drop that in. Which section of the chat? How about the chat section, Paul? I think you're out there listening. Give us 1 second. SPLK. Is that what we said? SPLK. Let's take a look at that. So I presume you guys were just sort of curious as to how high we think the market's going or what the candles are indicating. I mean, look at the 20-period moving average. Look at that. Okay, we did come underneath it once here. This was back in July. That's on a weekly, but we're still hugging it. We're still going in the up direction. Let's pull that on to daily. Yeah, in this case, I'm going to look more towards the 200. We come down towards it, didn't get into it, but we came close. And I'm going to grab the little marker pen again and look at that. Once we get above the moving averages, closing above, you know, that good old potential resistance area right in there. So yeah, it looks decent at this point. I mean, looking at that, we don't have a candle pattern. We had a high wave, which meant the market was balanced yesterday. Or Friday. Nice right now that we're above both the 20 and the 50, and we've crossed both of them in one foul swoop, which is pretty decent. But at this point, again, yeah, we've got a nice rising trend line, so can't complain at that. And again, I'd still be looking towards potential resistance. Let's just call it as a general number around $25. Yeah, let's take a look. All righty. Oh, SPY, there we go. So Wendy, yeah, Wendy, how you doing? Hopefully everything's good with you. Where would I buy on SPY then? Well, here we are on the daily chart. And again, through the small group coaching, these are things that we talk a lot about. But, you know, again, from observation, we had some great sessions on observing the market. Look how we pull back in and around the 50-period moving average. Aren't those some decent places where you could look to buy? Potentially. Now, in this case, you see, well, I mean, right here recently, this was in September, well, we fell through it, right? Well, we didn't have any reversal patterns there. We fell through it, right? Fine. So now I'm going to be a little bit more cautious. We came up and we found resistance at the 20. Okay, and we gently, yeah, sniggled back down, and now we've jumped back up. So let's have a think on that, and we'll zoom in a bit more. I don't trade this on the daily chart at this point in time. It's just, I'd say a little bit rocky, if you would. But I mean, there's an example. There's coming down to the 60-minute time frame. Nothing wrong with the 60-minute time frame, and it doesn't mean you have to be a day trader. But look at that. So again, we opened up here today, and we came down. This should have pre and post data on it anyway, but it is good to see. There we go. Yeah. So that's on 1 hour. So it does split across. There we go. That one there, and then we had the nice bull sash. Well, look at that. Boom. Had a nice candle pattern, bull sash, very forceful. There's potential resistance area where we broke and smashed right through it. Yeah, that's not bad. So again, looking at that, we closed 445, let's call it 30. Even if we look towards that one, no, that was a 75-cent move on the market itself. And then when we broke through it, yeah, that's over $1 move. Not bad, isn't it? So again, it's going to depend on your time frames. Oh, there you go, Ken. So you should have the small group coaching link, don't you? Candlecharts.com/special/SGC. So yeah, let's we'll have a quick chat here actually about the library. Here, I'm going to bring that over there. Oops, Get rid of Scooby. There we go. Don't forget about our, I mean, we've got a lot of material. This has all been created for you. A lot of it based upon people's request of, well, you know, can you tell me more about, I'm going to say Fibonacci, or more about this, that, or the other thing. Well, here we are. Again, here's the candlecharts.com. It is the full library. So we've got the Nissan software. If you want to put that on, you can see that I had that on my charts here. You can see, yeah, bearish engulfing, windows, and it doesn't matter your time frame. And of course, I'm using NinjaTrader, which is good, a good platform. If you're new to candles, or you know somebody that's new to candles, it's very worthwhile to take the quick start, Hajime, maybe an express class, and we do have bundles to save you money. You know, again, you package 2, 3, 4, 5 things together, things that you're going to need anyway to be a successful trader. Then, you know, again, you want to come in here and take a look at it. I mean, here we come down to the mega packs. These, I mean, they're worth gold. If anybody ever asked to borrow my mega pack, there's no way. I will never let go of that. And I review that once or twice a year because I'm always looking for maybe a little different strategy, or a strategy that's maybe working better in the current market conditions. And there's 4 volumes with that. Don't forget, you know, again, if you want to learn more about options, you can go straight into the options package as well, and down here, forex. Now, again, candles are candles, but some of these markets have their own little unique little bits about it. So again, that's very much great education up there. And then we start to come down into our interactive training. So again, Kaizen on demand, you get interaction with myself and other Kaizen students. We got one-on-one coaching, right? As I say, we've got the small group coaching that we're doing now as well. So there's a bunch of people, and they all have a lot of good questions. And you go, oh, right, that was my question, but I didn't want to ask it. Well, don't worry, somebody else did, and you're going to pick up good answers, tips and tricks on how to trade, hopefully more successfully than you have, you know, really at the end of the day. Special topics, again, we got a lot of special topics in here. And again, if you're, you know, if you need something in particular, let me just see, there you go, candles and divergences. We've got candlesticks and moving averages. You've got to have the Westerns. You can't just trade the candlesticks. Support and resistance is going to be very, very important. Myself, I use a lot of my moving averages as support and resistance. So, and I do have, you know, I have a lot of fun with that actually. Live trading recordings, of course, and right, yeah, that's it. So I don't know if you guys are members of mycandlecharts.com, but again, that's more the interactive. I say in the evening, it's, you know, it's for the daily recap. We've got, let me just come up here, and if we, mycandlecharts.com. Not very difficult, and let's just take a look at our member area, and I'll have to log in here on this one. Very easy to do. There we go. So again, you can have a quick look at whatever chart. You can just change this over here, and you can change that to anything you want. We won't change it for now. How's that? We'll just leave it. But down here, again, look at the bright, beautiful pictures. We did this to make things simple for you. Calendar of what's being provided when, what times. We got strategy sessions, forex focus, options outlook Wednesday, that's my specialty, and then another strategy session. So we got 2 strategies a week. Isn't that great? There you go, options outlook. So again, here are the videos, the casual trader. You just click on this picture. There you can see the most recent casual traders that have been done. You can see the markets that we've been doing them on. So it's like a little mini education as to some potential things to look for. Again, that's why we created the small group coaching, was to help you guys to then round out your training and your education to make sure that you've got a nice strategy that goes with all of this great education. Education is great and it is very valuable, but again, just keep in mind, you need to be able to put that into strategy format. All righty, any other questions? Or what questions I should ask? Anybody else, how are we doing? I've been doing a lot of talking here. Wendy, Tim, let's see, Sam, Rajendran, how are you guys doing? Maddie, welcome, thanks for coming in. Ken, yeah, that was some great questions, Ken. Kalavani, Ian, Godfrey, Don, anybody else out there that you know, has more questions? Oh, there we go, Al, Anise, Anson, oh, and Bob. Ken, what's a good list of to look for stocks? Yeah, Sam. Yeah, Sam. Why not? Yeah. Tell you what. We'll answer this in a few different questions, in a few different ways here. You should be able to see my market analyzer. And again, for this workspace. I don't have any of the candle patterns because I just come to the chart because I want to see them daily. But you know what? All you do is you right click in here and I say, there we go, add instruments. And you come down here and say, well, there you go. I mean, I usually add in, I've got one of my market spaces that's got the whole Dow 30. If you're new to trading, why not check that out? I mean, it's quite valuable, quite powerful. You know, they're all, well, I say well-tested stocks. You know, they've been around since forever, and hopefully they have nice movements for you. Now, let's take a look. Does that make sense, Ken? Is that a good place for you to start as well? Okay, right. Let's come into gold, and again, we want to start in on the dailies for a couple things. Well, I'll tell you what. Start in on the weeklies. And I know there's a lot of people talking about gold and silver. I mean, there we are on a weekly chart. I mean, so far, not overly impressed right now. Decent little support area around 1750. You can see we're consolidating in this area. The deeper low is down around 1680, somewhere in that vicinity. If you look at these lower shadows where we had the hammer, a couple hammers in that vicinity, but we're still underneath the moving averages. So on the longer term time scale of weekly, we're just sitting there. We're just going sideways. It's not very exciting. And I'm waiting for a good signal and hoping to get a nice longer term trade. Well, in that case, I really want to look at my longer term charts. Of course, I'll look at the shorter time frame, like the dailies and even less than daily, but I want to know my longer term time frame. Very, very important. So there you go. There's your 200, there's your 50, and there's your 20. We're downtrending. It's all, I'll put the big negative sign there. We're all negatively stacked here, and that's on the daily chart. So looking at this, you know, again, it's oscillating quite a bit. It's going up and down. Still like this area, yeah, around here, not bad, but got to consider. There we go, as I said, 1680. And yeah, we came up to the 200 period moving average, so I was looking for a move, either through it or down, and I was able to snap into some of that and have a trade back to the downside. Let's clean that off. Anise, the recordings, are you in the small group coaching? Because Paul has been sending those out, and they're also in the Facebook group. And that's the great thing about the small group coaching, is that they're all within the Facebook group. And you know, we're not talking about showing off your lunch and your date of the week or anything else, but this is all strictly about the strategies we're talking about, ideas that other traders have, and of course, all the recordings are in there as well. So it's really, really good. And let's take a look. Looking for high beta stocks that have momentum. But then, well, okay, then you're going to have to go and look at, well, I'm going to say probably more the high tech stocks. What do you think, Ken? If we think about Amazon, let's take a quick look at Amazon. And again, would I trade Amazon on the dailies? No, probably not, but I would again look at it on the weeklies and dailies. Oh yeah, look at the 50 period moving average. Look what happens when we come into the 50. We tend to bounce. I say tend to, we don't always. So on a smaller time frame, let's go into 60 minutes. Okay. I know this is letting a lot of the good stuff away. Here's where we had a 20 and a 50. So this is the golden cross here. I would have been nervous of that 200 period moving average. And look, we got above it and we only went sideways one day and then started there. And then we shot in the up direction. Boom. A little pullback into the 20. Boom. Still going up. I mean, there's probably a million different ways to trade the markets between adding in the options and everything else. So again, it does depend upon your strategy on how you want to trade. But obviously Amazon is, high delta, TSLA, high volatility stock. Not just a high delta, but also a high volatility. If you want the higher delta just automatically with your options, and this is more about trading with options, then all you need to do is buy one that's a little bit deeper in the money, and you're automatically going to have a higher delta, whether it's on the puts or on the calls. There we go. Any other questions there? Right. I think actually, let me see here. Wendy, do you think the market goes higher, or what are your thoughts? Wendy, I don't want to sound cheeky. So let's take it. We'll come back to SPY if that's all right. And this is exactly my thoughts. Now, again, as I said, I don't trade on the dailies, but let's just throw a little line there for resistance. Throw a little line down here, potential support. It's always potential because we never know if we're going to blast through or when we're going to get through it. Right now, again, you see 20 and the 50, they're ready to cross. We're closing and trading above the 50-period moving average. So therefore, I'm looking at the market going higher. I do trade on lower time frames, and that's why, again, I'll look at the 240 because, again, I find sometimes it gives a little bit of an early potential signal of reversals. And of course, 60 minutes there. So again, you want to look at the force of the candles. So it's not about, for me, I don't look at a market and say, oh yeah, that's going to go up another, 25, 50, 60 points. No, but all I'm looking at here is saying, well, right, okay, decent looking candles. We had a nice pullback here early in the morning and we thrust around. Great, I'm going to buy in, but I'm not going to stay in for weeks on end. Not at this point in the market. I just find very volatile. I think we've been doing a lot of sideways activity. So again, some markets have done well, nice trends, which is great. So we need to then sort of decide, well, how long do we want to stay in our trades? Do we want to just sort of pick and poke in and out as we find opportunities, and don't think you need to trade every day? Again, part of the market psychology, if you will, is if you're not feeling right or you just feel like something just isn't right with the markets, don't trade. Take the day off, monitor it, or come back and monitor it after the fact and say, right, okay, it was sideways. I mean, because when we looked at, there we go, that was last week. It's on an hourly basis. It looks not bad, but the market really didn't do a heck of a lot. Let me just come down to, let's say, a 10-minute time frame. There we are, and we put it there. I mean, that looks pretty pathetic. Where's 230? This is about where the market opened here. We really didn't go far, and then you can see it really just flattened out. It was a terrible day. I didn't have to trade it that day. That was fine. So, and there we are for today. So again, even coming down into the 10 minutes, and it doesn't mean that you're day trading, but again, we're still looking at this and saying, well, it looks like it's turning back up. It's crossed above the 50 and the 20 on the longer time frames. And look at this nice candle here. Boom. And there we go. We took off like a rocket and kept on going. That's all I wanted to see. Coming from underneath, and it came down to the 200-period moving average and then blasted. Again, these are a lot of the things that we start to talk about in the support groups or small group coaching. It's about, well, what can I do to increase profitability? Some of it comes down to just simply, I'm going to say simply, knowledge. So if we come back to, again, this here, it's the library. Gotta have some good foundation. That's why I love my mega pack. As I say, I would never give that up. There's always things. I mean, out of this mega pack, I don't know how many different ideas of trading there are, but I mean, literally, I could probably find 50 to 100 different ways of trading, different strategies. It's that powerful. I mean, it really is my favorite, and yeah. Going to have those, wrapped in gold at some point, gold leaf, and put them on my shelf. But as I say, special topics, there's a lot of little things in here. I think there was one down here about Fibonacci. I can't see it off the top of my head, but there it is. Fibonacci analysis secrets. Pretty powerful Fibonacci if you're set up for it. If you're trading 1-minute charts, probably not really. But if you're trading, even 60-minute charts or daily charts, weekly charts, very powerful stuff, the Fibonacci. Again, that's a Western technical, but it goes hand in hand with the East. So we want to look for key, potentially reversing patterns at key Fibonacci areas. And that's in both directions, going down and going up. So how's that, everybody? What did you guys think? Need anything else? Who else has some questions here? I love questions. Ken, did I answer all your questions, Ken and Wendy? And so I didn't want to sound cheeky, Wendy, when I said I don't know how high the market's going, but as I say, right now it is heading in the up direction, so I'll treat it as going up. What about moving average, Ken? On this chart, I'm showing the 20, the 50, and the 200. I find the 50 and the 200 amazing, especially in the volatile markets when they're bopping around. But the 20 is also a well-used industry standard. I mean, some people call 21, some people use 18. You don't have to be that precise. And I had a discussion with somebody earlier this week, and I said, hey, look at, don't be an engineer, don't be an accountant. You have to be more of an artist. We're coming down close to the 200 period moving average. Great. Is there an opportunity there to buy? Maybe on the hammer, or maybe back on the bear sash as we're touching the 200 period again. What is the best? Steve mentioned in the mega pack 9 and 14. Well, what's the best? It's going to depend on your market, Ken, actually. And I found on some markets that my moving averages really don't work. I use different moving averages on FX, on the forex markets, compared to my day trading. And I'll day trade the Russell, SPY, and other stocks, even Apple. But I use completely different moving averages. But again, it's all from, I say from experimentation, it's from trial and error to see how do the moving averages react to the market? And you can see, and if you can't see that, I'll bring up the spotlighter. Look at this. For the most part, we're hanging around this 20 period moving average, and that's on a 10-minute time frame. Now we're underneath. Yeah, we're underneath. Yeah, we came up to the 50. We fell back down again. There you go, right onto the 200. I don't want to say how long is a piece of string, but again, moving averages, you've got to find the ones that fit your particular market. If you have a market that's more volatile, you might want to then consider something completely different. But again, based on your time frame and strategy and your style of trading. Hope that makes sense. Yeah, Steve has also mentioned about the 3 and the 12 on the simple, and I've amended that to a 5 exponential and a 12 simple moving average. But I still use my 50 and my 200. They are always on my charts. Yeah, well, exactly, Wendy. I mean, yeah, this is going to sound a little bit funny. I was talking about moving averages the other day. The smaller your moving average, so the smallest one we have here is the 20. Well, the market's going to be hanging pretty close to that. Yes, it gets away from it, but it does magnetically return to it because, again, on average, it's got to be around, 20 days worth of data is going to be sitting right in and around the 20 period moving average. That's just how it is. Yes, we blast off here, a little overextended, and look at the sharpness of rising angle on the 20. So yeah, I mean, use these moving averages to say, oh yeah, you're right. This one works really, really well on SPY on the 10-minute maybe for this period of time. Yeah. Oh, there we go, Sam, right. A question. I am more of a value investor. Having said that, I want to be more confident on when to enter or exit in long-term or short-term. Which package would you recommend? Sam, again, hand on heart, I would definitely say the mega pack as a minimum. Feel free to also, oh no, actually, let me just, there we go, we'll bring this back up. You see down here, we've got the little chat box. Actually, if I X that out, you can see it's the little blue box there. Chat with us, click on that, ask a few questions, and again, our chat agents are actually all trading as well. So again, they should be able to give you a very good answer. I love the mega pack. It is a lot of material. But you don't have to go through all of it all at once. You can go through piece by piece and put your strategy together. And let's just take a look here. If we said you're a longer term trader, so you might be looking at the dailies. Tell you what, let's I've been using Caterpillar recently, but okay. So what do you think about that? This is Caterpillar. I mean, it's heavy equipment. Again, we were coming, you see, there's a 20, 50, 200. We're positively stacked. We're coming up. Whoa, right. Making a double, triple top, whatever you want to call that. And we start to come down. We're now closing underneath the 20 and the 50. Here we cross. We've got the dead cross. Come down and hit the 200. We're coming alongside. Yeah, we had a little pop up here. Moving averages didn't cross. Still downtrending. And we are still downtrending according to these moving averages on the daily chart. So there's multiple ways of learning, well, when should I get in and when should I exit? Again, the small group coaching, I think, has a lot of benefit to that because, again, let's take a look at the weekly chart of CAT. So just as one example, I'm going to say, well, look at that. So where's this? August, early to mid-August, that was this year, 2020. Sorry, that was last year. Wow, that was a whole year ago. Turned up. And I've asked people, okay, so where would you sell? Well, they would have sold right here at the top. Well, okay, did you have your crystal ball? The question is, again, you start to see evening stars, barotomies, shooting stars. Oh my God, I should be exiting. Should you? You've got to look at different time frames, and that'll make a huge, huge difference. So then we come in and, we'll look at it at the daily sort of as a minimum. Oops, I'll have to add in a little bit more data in here. Let me just throw in 600. Why not? Should be close enough. There we go. Okay, so there we are. We're already sailing in the up direction. We had one little close underneath the 50 on the daily chart, but outside of that, for the most part, we're still heading in the up direction. Very, very nice. Yeah, maybe a close or, this close underneath, it's quite significant candle. So again, exiting on something like that. Let's see the close, 225.70 as an example. And we said entering in August, let's say somewhere around here. So that was 140 going up to 225, somewhere in that vicinity. Different time frames, though, help you to decide maybe a little bit more fine tuning on the entries and the exits. Oh, great, Ken. Good. Well, I look forward to seeing you on Saturday if you can join in. Again, obviously, all the recorded material is there. Wendy, yeah, can you look at the NDX? Do you mean the Nasdaq, or is that a symbol? I think if we look at the triple Qs, I think that's what you mean, isn't it, Wendy? Nasdaq, yeah. So if we look at the triple Qs, that's just the ETF. I mean, I could have brought up the futures, but very bullish market. I mean, we're well above that 200 period moving average, and that's on the daily chart. Wow. So we had come down there. I'm just zooming in there a little bit more so you can see we had the dead cross here, but we immediately then flipped around and we're coming back in the up direction. Do I see, potential little resistance here? 374, potentially. And then I'll put a line up here at 382. That's the all-time high. I mean, if we get back up to there, the sky's the limit. How high can it go? This market has been exceptionally resilient. And very, very bullish and very, very strong. So let's see. Yeah, we had a nice pullback here. And actually, did we come back into a good support area, potential support area? Yeah, why not? If we look right there, and I'm going to highlight this over here, wasn't a candle pattern, but again, we had a rising window here. Yeah, we did break it actually, but again, we had a little bit of a retest in this area. Not bad, and that's exactly where we came. See, the sky wasn't falling completely. We had a nice pullback. We needed to. We were too far away from the 200, in my opinion. Now we're back above, looking bullish. Now, the moving averages haven't crossed up, but they're close, and they're getting there. But the end, I'm not sure what you mean by, the NDX. I don't know, that is a stock. No, it's the Nasdaq 100. Why is that not coming up for me? For some reason, there it is. Yeah, I mean, they're going to be very, very similar. And again, we can just zoom that out. I mean, there's a year's worth of data roughly, and we're still going back up. I mean, it's exactly the same thing. So what I would say, and again, in the mega pack, Steve talks a lot about windows. Windows are very, very powerful. So I would highlight again the upper portion and the lower portion of the window. Keep an eye on it. The market may come back and retest that area. It may use it as support, or it may just break it and go right through and keep on going to the downside. And and that's okay. We just have to be aware that this is possible. Let's turn that on to weekly. Again, from a weekly perspective, the NDX, so the Nasdaq 100, moving averages still very much bullish stack, the 20 and the 50. We've only come down, we didn't even close underneath the 20 period moving average. I had a skill testing question actually on the weekend. I'm going to zoom in here. So this candle right here, which says October 2021, did we close underneath the 20 period moving average? Yes or no? Hands up for yes. Hands up for no. How about anybody for no? No. Wendy says no. Exactly. We opened underneath it. We didn't close underneath it. Important that we remember the difference of, if we're going to look at candle closes, what does it mean to trade underneath a moving average versus closing above, closing underneath, something like that. So yeah, interesting little market. Right. So how was that? Reasonable? Everybody happy so far? And did you all learn a little something at least? Most important that at least you got something out of this. This is all about, again, the material that we have at candlecharts.com. Again, so the education at Candlecharts, and of course the mycandlecharts.com, because again, a lot of good, valuable information that we keep running each day of the week, 5, 6 days a week, really, to help give you ideas on strategy, how to trade. But don't forget, again, you do need a little bit of education, and it'll change your life completely, I would expect, you know, and again, in what you look at, how you look at the charts. Is the coaching for members only? Well, the coaching is, the small group coaching is its own little program, Wendy. So here, let me did you get the link? Candlecharts.com/special/SGC. Oops, no, there we go. So we'll send that back out again. Everyone should have that. Ken, do you use mostly strict? No, I don't use strict definition. No, definitely. I shouldn't say definitely not. No, but there are a few things that I do look for, Ken, where you might then start to think, oh, yeah, that sounds more strict than not. But let's come into SPY. Let's just come down. Hopefully we can see something on here. There we go. Now, okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, I thought there was an example here. As an example, you see we're coming down, right? We came up, we pulled back down again to the 200. Am I going to buy here? No, because the market's still down trending. Green candle, and then we even had a green hammer. So again, that would have been strict definition. Perfect. Great time to enter. Or for me, when I'm looking for a potential reversal, I would prefer to see the color in the favor, if you know what I mean. Except for the hammer. Yep, right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, the hammer, the strict hammer. I do leave it as just general hammer, and then I'll assess it, and soon I'll start to look into the next candle and say, are we turning, if that was red, you know, are we turning green? What does it look like based on the time frame and everything else? And boom, as you can see, yep, there we went. Great. Oh, Godfrey. Okay, well, we'll have a quick look. I guess we're just about done. Oops, we're just about done. Aussie. Did I type that in right? There we go. There we go. There you go. That's just on the daily chart. Let me just, there we go. Oops. There we go. Yeah, right. Okay, Paul. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah. So Aussie US, well, you know, downtrending. 20s underneath the 50. Now we're both, you know, both of them are underneath the 200 period moving average. And in the last 2 days, right? So that's so far today. I know the market hasn't closed, but that's today. That's Friday. 2 dojis spinning. Yeah, dojis sitting right at the 200 period moving average. I'm not going long. I'm not going to go short. I'm going to look on different time frames, see if I can take advantage of something. Now the moving averages are trying to turn up, but again, until we at least get above the 200, I'm going to be saying, well, we're at a potential resistance. 4 charts on my computer, 1, 5, 15, and daily. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's good, Ken. Yeah, I'll use up to 4 or 5, something like that. 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute. No, I like them, you know, very much. Sometimes I don't look at the daily so often, but I'll turn it into a 1 hour chart, and it just looks a little bit different. Oops, I don't use stochastics that much anymore, but I will, you know, look at something like this and say, right, we had a nice big red candle. Well, a lot of upper and lower shadow for Aussie US coming down to the 200. Didn't quite get there, but if we look back, oops, and I'll use a spotlight, a little resistance, potential support. Yeah, we started to reverse. Good potential opportunity there. But again, we're coming back into a potential resistance area, retesting that area. Yeah, so at this point, yeah, I think that trade's done. I'm looking for the next potential one. I do like that one. And right, oh, right, yeah, sorry. And I did have one more thing I was going to show you here, the calendar. I think I showed you this earlier, but for the mycandlecharts.com. So again, this is what we do: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. By Saturday, we post a weekly recap. Sunday, we also have the casual traders, and we're almost basically 7 days a week with some form of educational material, help give you ideas. So, you know, again, we have chart of the day, trade setup videos. Those are posted first thing in the morning by 8 a.m. Eastern time. Daily market recaps. You know, again, we do that 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. Strategy session, forex focus, options, strategy, and then a chart challenge on Friday again. So a lot of great information on the mycandlecharts.com site. And I would definitely say that's well worth it. I mean, we put a lot of effort into that. So again, very, very much worth checking out. So just go to mycandlecharts.com and find out how to become a member on the site. Well, there we go, Ken. So when trading options, is there a gauge as to how many points do you put in a sell stop? Well, Ken, it's gonna, well, for me, and this is sometimes the little bit of a difficulty, let's say. I'm just going to take a look to see, okay, here we go. And it's tricky. If you had waited until here, I mean, that's gonna be my stop loss all the way down here. I know this is Aussie, US, this is the currency, but it's the same thing. If that's the reason why I bought in, that would be my stop loss initially. Boom, you see we came down and we went back up. Okay, then I might move it up to here. Not quite break even, but we're getting there. And then as the candles start to come up and roll over a little bit, and then I might give it a little bit of space and give it 2 or 3 candles, and then I'll move it up to break even and a little bit of profit, and just keep sort of rolling it that way, depending on, again, how long I need to wait on the markets. But yeah, be strict. And again, that was something Steve made some good comments on the weekend about, which was, again, strictness. You've got to be strict with yourself. If the market isn't doing what you thought and you've hit a potential stop loss area, be strict, whether you've put in a mechanical stop or not. So here we go. I mean, there's, oops. Well, why don't we come back to, I think that's everything. So there we go. I mean, look at this on Caterpillar. Boom. So could we have entered? Well, that's a good question. We had a rising window. There's a reason to trade that. Maybe market that candle there. Although again, I would have looked at that and said a little bit of resistance, but window there. It's a close through the window or potentially down there. Again, there's a couple of different strategies you could use to make this work. So again, when the market's going down, the calls drop fairly quickly, don't they? And they lose a lot of their value. Calls, for example, on the option side of thing, when you've got nice green candles and they're going up like this, the calls just keep going plus. But as soon as we start to get a little bit of negativity, or even if we put in a doji and said hesitancy, this will have a big minus on it, the call price. So again, just be aware that it's better to sell calls when the market's going up. As I say, 1,000,001 strategies. All righty, everybody. Well, I think that was pretty good for today, and look out for us because hopefully we'll be back again soon with another open house or something to help you guys along the way. And again, if you've got any questions, come back to Candlecharts or mycandlecharts.com. Let's take a look at just the candlecharts.com. Click on the chat with us. Get in there and have a chat with one of our traders, and see what they say. Maybe they can highlight something quite quickly. Oh, have you considered this education? Have you considered this type of coaching session? That's why we did the small group coaching, for a lot more value. But there we go. Good. Keep your eye out. We'll be around. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your week. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.